Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Reza. Today, I want to do a quick video about closing costs. In our manual, we have like 10 pages of closing costs for our agents, but I decided no one likes to read, so let's just go ahead and kind of talk about it in person. I got my man James Wilson behind the camera helping us out today. Give me a shout out, James.
What's up?
He's our head of recruiting out here, great agent as well. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the fees that you can expect at closing. So you could tell that to your buyer, or maybe even turn a renter into a home buyer, because sometimes those 3 or 4 months that you got to put down actually equal a closing cost and a down payment, depending on whatever the price is of that unit. So closing costs will vary based on where you live, the property type you buy, multifamily, quadruplex, threeplex, or triplex, duplex, all these different plexes. They got my tongue tied right now. But typically, they'll be around 2 to 3% of the closing costs, right? So you're going to add that on to whatever the down payment is. FHA, closing costs might be a little bit higher because what are you paying? The PMI. What is PMI? That's your mortgage insurance. So let's go and talk about the fees that are included in the closing costs, right? The first one I have, because we do it in alphabetical order, is the application fee. This usually covers the cost for the lender to process your application. Before submitting that application, blah, 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 you should ask your lender about what are the application fees. Sometimes they waive it, sometimes they don't have it. So this is super important. You'll see this on your HUD statement that lender gives you. Your appraisal as well will be included in that HUD statement. So you need to figure out what is the appraisal fee. You're going to have attorney's fees. You're going to have closing costs and escrow fees, courier fees, credit report fees sometimes. You're going to have escrow deposit and property tax, mortgage insurance fees. So a lot of times you're asked to put 2 months of property tax and mortgage insurance payments at closing. Depends on the month when you close as well, because if you're closing, let's say around September or August, for example, here in Florida, you're paying actually you're paying less taxes. But let's say you close after property taxes are collected. So let's say you close end of November, December, you are paying like the entire year's taxes. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe when you close in that time, James, I'm right. Adam, I'm right. Yep, I'm good. Awesome. We got Adam in the background looking at me eating some almonds, but you know, so it depends on when you actually close these sales, because remember, that will cause your closing costs to go higher or lower. So you pay the entire years of property taxes up front a lot of times, especially with FHA loans and all that kind of stuff. So remember, your closing costs will be more expensive the lower percentage you put, just because there's insurance and other things that go into that. Here in Florida, a big thing is the flood insurance, right? We live in an area that's all limestone, rising sea levels, or whatever you want to call it. But you, in a lot of places, if you buy here in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, and Alapata, and different places near rivers, you're going to be paying a lot of money on flood insurance. So you need to figure out what your flood insurance is going to be. If you're in a 9-foot zone, 2-foot zone, what that is covered. You could find all of that, I believe, on the county website, or I forget what the actual website is. I'll put that later on in the link below. But there's a website where you can find out more or less what your flood insurance is. If you are buying a condo or a townhouse or a home in an association development, you're going to have to pay the association fees and other types of stuff that you need to do. You'll have homeowners insurance. There's also a policy title insurance. There's a lead-based paint inspection. There's a loan. There's sometimes discount points that they give you. These are called points, which you buy and they lower your interest rate. There's also, an owner's policy title insurance. There's an origination fee that you're paying sometimes. That is usually around 1% of the total loan. So remember, you're going to pay an origination fee at closing. You have the pest inspection for your cockroaches and some other stuff that they might have down here. And you also, if you're under... What am I doing, James?
No.
We're good? All right.
You're good.
He's messing me up, dude. Anyways, I was talking about the private mortgage, the PMI. We talked about the private mortgage insurance. If you're under 20%, you're paying private mortgage insurance until you get above that 20%. That's going to add on to, as well, your monthly payment. So keep that in mind for all those people working with those FHA, VA, and all those other types of loans. You have your property taxes. So these taxes need to be due within 60 days of the purchase by the loan service. Yeah, so you're going to need to pay that at closing. You'll have recording fees, survey fees, title company, title search, or exam fee. That is a mouthful, but you need to pay this to the title company. You'll have transfer fees. This is, the tax paid when the title passes from seller to buyer. The underwriting fee. If you're doing a VA loan, that's the 0% down for veterans. You'll be doing the VA. There's some types of VA fees that you have to pay. A lot of stuff that you need to know. Luckily, we have it all written down. If you want that document, just send me an email, peter@home61.com. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to copy and paste it and put it in the description of this video right now. Later on, we're going to be partnering up with Mutual MTG. I'm going to be sitting down with Tony, Paul, and Nick Lara, and they're going to kind of go a little bit more in depth about the different services that they have at their mortgage lending company and define a little bit better for you guys what an FHA, conventional, non-conforming, hard money, and foreign national loans are. Really cool thing about them, though, is they're able to do a 9% interest and 25% down for foreign nationals. So that's a really big thing in places like Miami, Los Angeles, San Diego, and other places where there's a lot of foreign buyers. So if you need any help, let me know. peter@home61.com. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment for us if you have any questions or you disliked anything I said, or you want to correct it, or you just want to have a cool discussion on how to close more leads from online sources and much, much more. Until next time, thanks for watching Real Estate Sales Academy. James is behind the camera and so is Adam. We'll talk to you soon.